of Africa, we will climb the zenith of our relationship and gain full access to certain experiences. Yes, you are my one and only customer and lover. Yes. I can guarantee you that your trust will not be broken. You may not be my first love, my first bank, or first city monument bank, but baby, you have my full fidelity. Yes. This will be our heritage. This will be like our ties. Because with you, I found everything complete and everything that I need is in you. And I assure you, may not be as proud as Ecobank or as big as Global, but baby, you can bank on me. You see, if loving you is like mathematics, I will die finding solutions to equations. Tell me, with one formula will I find the circumference of your love for me? How can I find the circumference of your heart when I know I underrate yours? Don't ask me why I cannot find my ex. You are my angle of elevation. With you, I conquer depression. See how our hearts tally the most frequency table. And if I were to ask each and every one of you here today, if Nigeria was a book, what kind of book would it be like? I'm very sure some of you will tell me ledger, checkbook, financial accounting book. But let me tell you something. If Nigeria was a book, it would be too enticing to be judged by its cover. It would be titled Nigeria. For it to be a collection of short stories about the political scrabbles, a chessboard of corruption, a drama of injustice, a cynical religion, a graveyard of moral dreams, a pot of imprisoned vision. This book will contain lots of humor embedded in the satire, where slaves feed on money and righteous humans out of power will have tears, drenching our fingers and flipping to the pages of mourning and weeping. The sense of human blood emanating from different art and scenes depicting our favorite art and scenes, but not today. See, if Nigeria was a book, it will contain the great names of all the bands seated here today. The ones who are ensuring that yes, this country is still afloat. The ones who are ensuring that our economy is up and running at maximum speed. Yes, this is for you all seated here today, because you have not been giving your roses enough. And if Nigeria was a book, you all will be the main character in my book, because I will be there to ensure that I write the book. But let me tell you this. My mother used to say, when the right hand washes the left hand, the left hand washes the right hand, then both hands can be clean. But our society has been infected with deadly diseases caused by tribalism and religion. Like virus has been injected into the veins of our community. It is deep into the heart of our humanity, destroying the very fabrics of our unity and integration, creating a painful rift within this beautiful nation. With the advent of this dreaded disease, see, my nights no longer restful, but I have become the unrestful. My mother was Abdullah as a son-in-law, and my father has tied my feet to the hands of a mentor, and these are my parents who always pay the rent for my parents to by diseases. This is has strengthened our merit and ability to use less in the space of job employment and our parents. We all down here in our door or beyond, don't do something our Christians. In the case that we are all parents of the diseases. So daily, with you, tribalism and religion and the education and disintegration, we are no longer peaceful, the bloody peaceful, placed within the hands of these monsters, shooting down the very pillars of our togetherness. Great friends running into grave enemies concerned about the jewels of tribalism and religion. Villains are scared about oneness, thinking lunatics of our town. So when things fall apart, it's no longer a story, but a symptom of a second infection. When terrorists come to cover by young men, arrows of ethnic and everything has pierced deep into the foundations of our standards to the point we can no longer stand them. You see, this has rendered our election a sham. Elected no longer for quality, either for handling of tribes and religion security. Wanted now senior, wanted now lady. That we want to pack up but all these have protected me. That have created ourselves of love, unity, and peace towards one another. So why don't we let our love flow to one another? Like the fast hands of our character, let understanding flow from the hands of our mind, let the place take a model upon the one way. Let us continue to stitch ourselves together. Let us show passion drama. Let us continue to bring ourselves together. Let us stitch our passion designer and the trust of a young teenager, because it is here that we stand, we battle and fall like an old man Sabbath. So the choice is ours to make. Make when I choose peace. Make when I choose unity.
performance. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Patience Agaga, aka West Diva. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone from now, I shall be bringing on stage our second paper presenter for his presentation. I beg your pardon.
Sincere apologies, man. Bringing us things now with the second paper presenter. I'm talking about the lead consultant, boss and HR, Mrs. Abigail Sampson Bugala. Can we please guys organize to make our way to the podium? Thank you very much. Ma'am, you're welcome.
Your Excellency, Executive Governor of Plateau State, former Parliament, and Mukwan, ably represented by the Small Project. The branch controller of Plateau State Central Bank, and branch controller of all the banks around here, our past controller, the area official here, and everyone who God has given honor,
Swallow, bring it.
It is a great delight that I stand before you today to talk about a very important topic that affects us every day, and yet we pay little attention to it. And it is leadership and impact. Leadership and culture and impact in marketing.
For the past 9 to 10 years.
This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want.
I go use Russian. Don't be mechanical.
No, they will bring spoon.
Don't be running. You wash your hands inside.
Every day in Nigeria, everyone wakes up trusting something. Not even their spouses sometimes, not the work they do, but they trust the banks. Why? Because all of their resources are in there. A long time ago, a story was said about a young lady who went to school and met other classmates of hers cooking their food in a particular manner. But she makes her own meal in a different way. And then everybody asked her, why do you make your meals this way? She didn't have an answer, but to say to them, this is how my mother makes her meal. But for curiosity's sake, she went back home and she asked her mom. She said, Mom, why is it that you cook this way? And her mom responded, that was how my mother taught me how to cook. In search for curiosity and more answers, she traveled to where her grandmother is and said to her grandmother, Grandma, I have learned how to cook this way. And my mother also cooked this way. Please, can you tell me the reason why you cook this way? And the grandma said to her, I have cooked this way all my life because the pot that I've always used to cook is small. And so the mother left the culture of cooking in a small pot from childhood and passed the culture to her daughter and the next daughter, and generations continue cooking in a small pot, thinking that was the thing to do. But stepping out of home, she realized that there were other ways of doing it. And that's talking about culture. Sometimes culture is going to pass intentionally or not intentionally. Sometimes it's deliberate and sometimes it's not. Also, a story was said about a financial institution, a bank somewhere in the north. When it was doing very well because the structure was very good and the structure was very solid. Unfortunately, customers began to leave the bank. Not because anybody did anything to them, but there was a certain decline. And then the regional manager was sent to that location to check what was happening. When she went there, she did not go with all the laws and the targets
But she went there with one thing. She went into the banking halls and sat down there to observe what was happening that was causing their customers to go in their numbers. And then she realized that it was all about targets. And everybody was on the rush. But then she did something. For 1 month, she stood in the banking hall and she asked every customer, do you feel good with our service? And is there any other way you can make this better for you? The customers could not believe what was happening. And because of that one question that she asked, they returned back in their numbers. The figures changed. Everything changed, service changed, complaints reduced because of the one thing that she brought in, the culture of service that she knew. Now, this goes to say to us that leadership is culture, and culture is leadership. And we must have the courage at all times to build this culture in our organizations. You see, for culture to thrive in our organizations, we have to permit it or we allow it to fly. If something goes wrong, disrespect for instance, and a leader decides to look beyond it and pretend as though he has not seen disrespect, the people who watch him will also learn disrespect, and they will give disrespect to their clients. Whatever we permit, whatever we allow becomes a culture in our organization. Ladies and gentlemen, our culture is not about the core values we place on our walls. Our culture is not only about the mission statements and the value statements that we have in our offices. It is beyond that. It is what we carry. It is what we do when nobody is watching us. A lot of times we do a lot of things because there is a supervisor that watches. But who are you when that supervisor is not there? What is the culture that has been embedded in you that will find its expression in the times of crisis and when people are not there? Tonight, we are here for awards and recognition. But as we go back to our spaces, to our workplaces, we must remember that our people come to us because of the culture that we see. If our culture is toxic, we drive the people away. If our culture is healthy, the people will come to us. So I ask you this question this evening. What kind of culture is happening in your organization? What kind of culture do you see at work? Do you know that our people have decided to keep to themselves and be in their cocoon because they lack psychological safety in their workplace? When they make their complaints, they become issues. They are being judged, they are being silent. And so because of that, they have kept their ideas in themselves, and that has led to poor innovation in our organization. As we close from here today, I'm facing capitalization, which is running on humans. Mergers and acquisitions, which probably will not run away from. May we be reminded that culture is what people will grab themselves up. Culture is that fragrance that will grab our clients from different places to us. And leaders will ensure that they have the courage to build culture, to innovate, and to ensure that the banking system is growing and growing. Thank you very much.
Have you got food? Yes. Okay.
I think she deserves a better number. Can we please put our hands together some more? Thank you very much. This is Samson Bugara. Quickly now, before we go into presentation of awards and football trophy, we'll be inviting
Yes, guys.
for the performance the Royal PC dancers. Please, wherever you are, Royal PC, and immediately after the Royal PC dancers, Sharua will also be here. But for now, Royal PC dancers, are you ready? Okay, please, this is your time. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, can we please put our hands together, please? Young men, as they make their way to the stage, please let's appreciate them. I know our heads are busy. but we can clap for them, please. Thank you. The Royal PC is a group of young men who have traveled far and wide to represent Plateau State, represent the rich culture of this state.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, while the second presentation was going on, we are indeed privileged to have a very distinguished guest walk in. I'd like to recognize the presence of the Government Secretary Social Services, Plateau State Government, in the person of Mr. Wycliffe UNICEF. Are you here, sir? You're most welcome to the occasion. Thank you for coming.
No, just we don't do the salad.
Ladies and gentlemen,